welcome to our launch and first workshop for Aid for International Teachers. For those who have been following, would have learned about AFIT through social media, and that it was created from experiences of international teachers. So, um, we decided we are going to have a workshop this morning where we're going to be sharing with international teachers, especially the ones who are just starting this school year. We were focusing on four counties, that's Jasper, Colleton, Hampton, and Beaufort County, but we also extended it to other districts and other states. So, Aid for International Teachers is a nonprofit organization that tries to cater to international teachers who face difficulties when they come here in the United States, and not just difficulties, but also to assist them in settling in their communities. We know as experienced international teachers that it's hard leaving your home country, coming to a new culture, new environment, everything seems new, and most time, in most instances, it seems that way the new teachers. I know for me, when I came here back in 2015, and though I was teaching for 14 years back in Jamaica, when I got to my school that I was playing, I was like, everything is new. Whatever we're doing back home, that's not what your school district is asking you to do. And so we're here to just assist international teachers, get to relax, basically educate you with the things we have experienced before, and try to be there for you, as best as possible. So, if you have not visited our website as yet, it's Aid for International Teachers .com, and you can check out our story while we were creating that's on there. And I'm going to take the time now to introduce you to our team members. So our team members, we have myself, who's the founder. We're going to ask Mr. Britton to come and do the introduction.
Hi guys, so I am Kerry Britton and with me is Diane Britton Rickett. So we are two directors in AFIT. We have a fourth director, Shane Lackey. Not here just yet, but so the organization was founded by Dr. Britton, as she mentioned earlier, and it came out of challenges that she would have experienced as an international teacher, challenges that she would have seen other international teachers face. And as they say, in every adversity there is opportunity. So eight international teachers get an opportunity that came out of the adversities that international teachers face. So basically, it was founded to empower teachers, and not just teachers, also their support group, which is their families. So most times when teachers come here, they bring along families, so the lives of the teachers are not only affected directly, but indirectly through the difficulties or challenges their families might face in settling. So presently on the board we have four directors, the founder, and myself and two other directors, as we try to fulfill the mandate that we have set by the founder to take care of teachers and their families. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we have been doing a lot so far. It's a fairly new nonprofit organization, but we are hopeful that it will be growing. We are extending at this time also. If there are volunteers who would like to be a part of the nonprofit, you can always send us an email at nonprofit@gmail.com, as well as we'd like to fill another director position. Again, if you'd like to be a director, you can send an email and share your interest, and we take it from there. But we're definitely seeking volunteers so that we can spread our wings or objective to meet the needs of teachers, not just in the areas that we are working or staying, but other teachers who might be impacted or just need information from an experienced teacher. All right, so we have today some presenters who will be presenting for us. We are excited for that. They are excited. And so teachers, you are going to sit back, relax, and take some very well thought out information that will be presented to you today by our presenters. We have with us Ms. Julia Lee, principal from Hampton School District. I'm not sure if your school is going to change. I know you have a merger, the same name, Phil Esville Elementary, that's Julia Lee. We also have from Savannah, Chatham County Public School District, Mr. Brian Fulmore, SSC. Sergeant First Class, Brian Fulmore, and he's with SCCPS, as well as Diana Ricketts, who's also at SCCPS, and she will also be presented. I'm excited. Let's get started. We're going to start with Sergeant First Class, Brian Fulmore.
Okay, good morning again to everyone.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, how's everybody doing?
Good.
Okay, as you said, I'm Brian Fulmore. I'm a junior ROTC instructor with Savannah Chatham County Public School System. I'll tell you a little bit about myself because it's not just military related. There's a lot more to it. First and foremost, I'm a native of South Carolina, born and raised in South Carolina, place probably about 3 hours from here called Florence County. More rural area, so I'm very familiar with South Carolina as a whole, as well as South Carolina's public school system. I'm a product of South Carolina's public school system. From there, I decided to go on to college. I did do college here in the United States, obviously. A school called Winthrop University, which is right outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. Charlotte is a much larger city, especially as opposed to being out in the rural areas, such as Florence County, Lake City, Hampton County, Jasper County, and the areas that are surrounding here. While in college, I decided that I needed to do some military service to help pay for college, so that's how I got involved with military service. Enjoyed what I was doing, so I continued on from there and went on to a full-time career within the United States Army. Traveled all around the world, saw all kinds of different people, but then there came a time that I realized, okay, I'm not going to do this forever because I do have some other goals and ambitions, even though it was a great life. So I decided to retire. We didn't decide to retire me. So that happened. So I decided to retire, but I knew I was going to move into education at that point in time because of another passion. One of my minor in college was an education major. I started off as an education major, transitioned it to an education minor. Ended up with a degree in business, so my major was business, minor is education. So that's how I ended up in the public school system, as well as while I was in the Army as a whole, I did a great deal with the Army's education system. The Army is more than just bullets and guns. There's a lot of training and education that goes behind the scenes. So I was one of those guys behind the scenes working what we call the Army school system, or the Army's training system, which is designing coursework and training for leaders as well as subordinates alike. So that's a little bit about me and my background and how I got to that place. I've been in the education system now for over 8 years. Started off in Florence County, well actually in Williamsburg County, as a junior ROTC instructor. Stayed there for not quite a full school term, and decided to transition over to Savannah Chatham County Public School System. So I say all of those things to let you know that I've worked in South Carolina. I've also worked in another state, which is Georgia, Savannah, Georgia now, which is where I work now, in public school systems in both locations. So as well as grew up in those public school systems, so I'm pretty well versed in those areas of expertise. Along with that, I've worked with a lot of international teachers. There were several international teachers in Williamsburg County at that point in time, and over time, I've seen it grow in the state as a whole. And there's been persons obviously that are here now from Jamaica and some other areas, as well as there's some international and there's some other international teachers that I've worked with along the way from the country of India, et cetera, and now there's actually one from Africa that's currently here. I've seen that process grow over time, and that's why I say all of those things. I want you to take a few things away from my presentation. First and foremost, I don't want to bore you. That's the first thing. Secondly, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I'll give you some of my do's and don'ts. Up front, those are the things that I want to cover, some do's and don'ts. I also want to cover some healthy balance, and I also want to cover some differences. So some do's and don'ts, some healthy balances, and some differences. The first thing are some do's and don'ts. Do's and don'ts. The first do, somebody say do. Do. Okay. First thing you do is take care of your household and family. I need to say that again. The first thing you do is take care of your household and family.
Yes.
I'm not sure if someone's been, well, I know some have been here for several years by now, and there may be some that are just getting here. Oftentimes, when persons are coming from another location to the United States to work as an international teacher, what I've seen on multiple occasions is the time span is very short between the transition from leaving your home country to coming straight to work. I've actually even seen a teacher actually get out of a cab from leaving the airport at the school.
That's true.
Yeah. So the time frame has typically been rather short. The first thing that you do is take care of you and your family. So if you are just getting here, the first thing you do is request time. If you're one of those persons that has that type of situation and dilemma, request some days up front. Yes, school might have already been in session. If it's already been in session, then guess what? There's a plan already been going on for that group of kids already.
Yes.
If school is starting in 2 or 3 days, guess what? It'll start in 2 or 3 days whether you start with it or you don't start with it. I fully understand that you want to get your feet wet, you want to hit the ground running, but if you don't take care of yourself and your household matters first, it will linger on and cause you problems down the road in the entire school year. Now, one of the things that it will do, it will cause you problems in your job, because you will bring those stresses from home that you didn't take care of to the job. And now you got stress at home, and now you have stress on the job, and you're still trying to figure out the job at the same time. So I'll say that once again. One of the things you do is first and foremost, take care of you and your needs for your family. Get your family settled, figure out your routine, take a day to just make sure you've got things together for a couple of days up front. Because I've also encountered international teachers have a strong work ethic. You're very dedicated to what you do.
Yes.
Otherwise, you wouldn't go. Yeah. You're here for a reason, and you're well educated, you're very astute, and you're prepared. But what you don't want to do is overwhelm yourself as though you have to, and you're forsaking your first situation, which is your home. So do take care of your household and family, even if you have to request a few days off up front. That's one thing you do. Something else that I want you to do. One more thing you do is don't overburden and overtax yourself with words. Yeah. Don't overburden and overtax yourself with words. What am I saying with that? What I'm saying is, yes, everything is going to be new for you. Yes, I don't care if you're coming from Jamaica or India or you've already been here. If you're into a new building and a new situation, because every building is different, every school situation is different, it's going to be overwhelming because it's new. It's not just because you're coming from somewhere else, it's because it's just new altogether. So what you want to do is take your time and pace yourself. Pace yourself. That doesn't mean you have to have marathon work days. I need to say that again. That doesn't mean you have marathon work days, because I know you have a strong work ethic. Put yourself on a timetable to the place that one thing you do is you say, okay, this is when I'm going to start, and this is when I'm going to finish, because guess what? Work will be there the next day. I promise it'll be there the next day. There will be more papers to grade. There'll be another meeting around the corner. There's going to be something else that you can put on your wall. There's going to be something else that you're trying to get outlined. So make sure that you pace yourself and set up a timetable for yourself when you do start work, so that you're not leaving work at 6 o'clock in the evening, and then going home and getting something to eat, only to pick your laptop up again to redo some other stuff before the next day. You do your best during your planning to make sure that you're taking care of your time. So yes, there will be some meetings here and there, but one of the other things you do, one of the first things you can also do is request some time from your principal up front, that even when you start working, that you need to guard your time with meetings. Guard your time to the place that when it's time for professional development sessions and they have different faculty and staff meetings, ask them up front for at least 3 weeks of uninterrupted time when it comes to your planning. I need to stress that. Make sure that you guard your time. Yes, there's 180 days in most school system school years. So whether you're on a year-round basis, whether you're on a summer type basis, there's still going to be about 180 days. So if you request 3 weeks up front that you're guarding yourself from professional development, you're guarding yourself from all these additional meetings, etc., you will be better off. Take that time during your planning session to make sure you're doing what you need to do to prepare yourself for the next group coming in, or the next day's classwork, etc. You gotta guard your time. So you do take care of your family first. You do request time up front. You do make sure that you try to guard your time. Those are some things that I would strongly encourage you to do. Some things you don't do. What you don't do is you don't go home and you have marathon work sessions till it's time to go to bed. What you also don't want to do is you don't want to find yourself working for free on days that you don't have to.
Right.
Most school systems, to include mine, will open the building at certain days and times for you to come to work. My school system has a day open today. Got it. But remember I said I've been here, this is my 8th year. So I've been there and done that, and I've seen some things over some time. What you do, if you have not already taken care of yourself on your home front, you don't worry about that. That building will be there. When you get there, it'll be there. What else you don't do is, if you're going to go in on those days, before you do those things, get the parameters set up front. Get the parameters set up front. What am I talking about? Most districts are not going to pay you additional. They're just not going to do it. Don't feel as though you have to, even though you know you're not getting paid for it. So keep that in mind. So what you want to do, if you're in a situation where you feel as though you have to go to work, or you would like to go in and take care of some things, make sure that you get the parameters up front. Discuss it with your administrator. Listen, I understand the building is open. Is there any additional compensation? They do have something called an extended workday agreement in most districts. They have something called an extended workday agreement. So ask. You don't know until you ask. So ask, can I get an extended workday agreement for some of this additional time? That's one thing you do. Ask. Secondly, if that principal or that administrator says, well, no, there's no additional work agreement. Okay, ask up front. Will I be able to get some compensation time on an additional day? Because they may or they may not. Every school system is different. I need to explain that again. Every school system is different. In your countries, you're probably more accustomed to provinces or parishes. Okay? Here, it's set up by counties. It's set up by counties. Each county is not like a parish, because a parish setup is more from a religious overtone. The county setup here is more from a municipal setup. So each county is its own municipality. And what that also does for you is each school district is autonomous. So that means each school district is going to be different. If you start off in South Carolina and you move to Georgia, there's going to be some differences. Just because each state's education system is set up on its own because of that autonomous circumstance. And inside of each state, each county's situation is going to be set up differently. That's why some counties will start off on the 1st, other counties will start off on the 5th, other counties might start off on the 15th, because there is no one jurisdiction that governs it all. Each county is autonomous underneath the auspice of each school system set up for the state as a whole. So make sure that you're asking those questions up front. Can I get an extended work day for any of this? B, can I get some compensation time? And even if they say yes, you can get compensation time, you follow it up with an email. Don't say, well, I was told 6 months ago I can take 4 hours. You follow it up with a nice email. Miss So-and-so, thank you for the opportunity to work here. Based on our conversation, you stated that I would be able to get 4 hours compensation time at my convenience. I want to make sure that we're just clarified. Put it in writing. So the last thing I'll say on that note is whatever agreements that you have with your administrators from a side perspective, get it in writing. You don't have to be forceful with your writing, but at least get it in writing. Otherwise, you may find a situation down the road that that administrator might be gone. Or that administrator says, I don't remember that. That happens from time to time. So get it in writing. Are there any questions up to that point? Any questions up to this point? Okay. Sure, okay. So along with that, let me say this too. This area is called the Low Country. Somebody say Low Country.
Low country.
Okay. You're in a great area. I say welcome to you as a native of South Carolina, as well as someone that's grown up here and been all around. This is a great area to be in. There's lots of things to do. That goes into the balance piece. That's why I'm looking at that. There's the balance piece. You're not far from many beaches. You're not far from many beaches. So go to the beach from time to time. Find out from the county's websites what amenities they have in the area. Whether it's movies, whether it's dining out, whether it's cultural things that are more indicative to you. Find out what your areas have to offer. Jasper County is more of a rural county. Hampton County is more of a rural county. There's going to be a little less to do, but one of the things that all of this low country area has is great food. They have a lot of festivals that come up in the fall as well as in the spring. So take advantage of some of those opportunities. That helps with your family and your work balance. So do go out and explore some things. Finances are always an issue, so you do things on a budget. That's why the beach is free. You don't have to pay for that. Don't pay for parking. Most of these beaches along the strip, they're going to have plenty ample places to park. It's not going to cost you anything. You can pack a lunch, pack some drinks or whatever you want to do. That's free. Lots of times they also have those festivals and things around. Those things are free events. Take advantage of the free events that are there to help you with your balance and your work life. Does that make some sense? Along with that, your school district, make sure that you see what they have up front. Yes, we have some wellness and different things from different school districts and whatnot, but make sure that you're planning some balance on your own. Planning balance on your own. Along with that balance, guard your time on those weekends. I'm going to say that again. Guard your time on those weekends. So don't take Saturdays as just it's already going to be a 6-day work week every week. You will burn yourself out. To avoid keep the burnout, you've got to take care of time, you've got to take care of yourself, take care of family, and there's a place and a time for everything to include work. But don't let it overflow and overspill so that now you're going to have problems within your family, within yourself, or within your scope of your job. Outside of that, I want to show you a video, and then we'll go from there.
Down in the middle of the diagram, we see inspector valve. That is the core of everything as it relates to your climate and culture. What is it that you inspect about? Now, we may say that we inspect about certain things, but you may act out differently.
climate. Two very important things for you. Culture and climate. The first thing that you want to do is just get a sense and a feeling for the culture of wherever you're working. That doesn't mean you leave your culture altogether, because you are who you are, and you need to be who you're supposed to be. With that, you want to make sure that you are culturally aware of where you're going, the surrounding that you're working in. What's the culture of Jasper County? What's the culture in Hampton County? What's the culture in Chatham County? You want to know what's going on in the area as a whole. Then on top of that, you want to know what the culture is and feel it out for the culture inside of your building. You got, everything has its own culture. The area is going to have a culture. The district as a whole has a culture. And it takes more time to learn those things. It doesn't happen overnight. But you can see what the culture is and accept that norms are in the buildings that you work in. So just kind of get a sense and a feel. Does it feel like it's warm and inviting? Does it feel like, okay, it can be some improvement? You want to know what, you got to get a better pulse on that.
Does it feel toxic?
Yes. Is it a toxic environment? Are the parents involved? Are the parents not involved? What is their norm? What are the norms? On top of that, when it comes to you, guard the climate of your own classroom. I say that again. Guard the climate of your own classroom.
I agree.
That has to be your space. And you have to make it inviting for the students to come in, make it welcoming for them to come in, have them wanting to get to your area and your location, but you've got to make sure that you are in charge of that area as a whole. Yes, decorate your walls. You may try some music or some soft things in the background. Make sure that you do speak to the children. Good morning, good afternoon. Watch our facial expression. Make sure that, because they pick up and they read things and they're going to get a sense of those things. So make sure that we're doing all we can to let them know that you're inviting, that you're welcoming, but you do have some standards. You don't necessarily want to deviate from your standard to the place that now, okay, you just do anything and everything, or you allow anything and everything to happen, because you've got to maintain a standard. And you, within that same thing, you want to find that and figure out that cultural norm in the building. What is the building's norm as far as the standards are concerned? Behavioral-wise, operational-wise, how often are they having meetings? How often are they interrupting teachers with announcements over the PA system, so that you can figure out those norms and you'll know how to operate within it. But when you get to your room has to be your room, and the culture of your room and the climate in your room needs to be inviting, needs to be welcoming, and whenever you interact with the children, interact with the parents, etc., you want them to at least know that they've got someone there to help, someone there that's there trying to assist. There are going to be some barriers. You recognize the barriers with the dialect. Recognize the barriers within the scope of culture. Some are more religious than others. But at the same token, you may have to speak a little slower. You may have to write some things on the board. You may have to reword some things a couple of different ways so different kids can connect and get it. So you figure out the climate within your scope of your building and your room and control that, and those things will help you out more than anything. I'm not going to take your whole morning, but I want to leave you with those nuggets up front. I hope I said something that might help assist you along your stay and your journey here, whether it's in South Carolina, or whether it's in Georgia, or anywhere else that you travel, because I know international people do move from time to time so many years. And just know that even if you move from point A to B, that's going to be a new culture, new climate, new activities, but take care of self and family first, and the job will be there the next day. Are there any questions for me? Well, thank you all for your time, and thank you for this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brian. You did an awesome job. We are really coming. We don't have the rest of your time. We're going to present you with a test today. We're going to ask Director Ricky to present that you will give, so that if you want to flip out, you So, Mr. Brian, on behalf of the APIC team and all the stakeholders and all the international teachers, we just want to say thank you for your time. Thank you for taking, time out of your busy schedule to come and present to us. We have learned so much and we appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so guys, for those who are live, we have people who are live, who are enjoying, they are interacting in the chat, but there were no questions. We're gonna move on to our next speaker. It's gonna be Julia Lee, our principal for Exeter Elementary from the School County, Hampton County School District. Please. Okay. Good morning. Good morning.
Oh my God, y'all sound like y'all still.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm not that principal.
Good morning, Miss Lee.
I am not that principal. I'm not that person who sits back and doing things that they're not supposed to be doing. I'm always out and about trying to be about my father's business. And we are in the business of education. And we're going to do, as you put it, in the words of the movie from Ray Charles, you want to make it do what it do. So we bring you greetings from Esther Elementary, where I am the principal. I've been in education for 35 years. I know I don't look it, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm a jokester at heart. I love to have fun. I love to relax my people, even though there's some days, when they're not doing what they're supposed to do, we have to always get to switch to the next act. I am from Ridgeland area in Jasper County. I live in a little community called Tallboro, South Carolina. If you blink, you will miss it because it's very small. 30 minutes ride to work. Been doing it for years, been in the same district for 35 years. Have moved up the ranks from being a teacher to being a curriculum coordinator, to being executive master teacher, from being the director of this, the director of that. So I have been in and out. The only thing I have found out that I have not done is drive bus. I have not been a custodian, and I have not worked in the cafeteria. So those are my future goals. When I retire, I'm just going to come back and just aggravate them just to be who I am. So our presentation today is very, 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 very simple. It's pretty much a young man that just spoke, said the same thing that I was going to say, so I'm already finished.
Oh, my goodness.
So thank you so much.
You are already covered.
Yes, I'm already covered. I'm already covered. This is going to be challenging for me because I'm not a standstill person, but for the purpose of what we are here for, we're going to just stand here and just go through. The preparation before entry, that title came, and also I'm a minister, okay? I did a sermon for Sunday, and it was preparation before the battle begins. And so I said, where can I go with this in education? So I said, for preparation before entry, ready or not, here I go. So this is a business where you have to prepare. You cannot come unprepared. Because guess what? Those little darlings, they're going to know when they're not prepared. So it is important that we come prepared. When you're prepared, you already know the outcome of your interview. When you're prepared, you already know when I go into school, I'm going to handle my business. When you're prepared, you know your success in a school is dependent upon what you bring before you came to school. So if you came, as the young man said earlier, if you just came out the car and you stepped on the ground and you have to go in the building and teach, you want to give yourself time to do that. However, there are some caring administrators. I know we get beat down. And we know we have people who say, oh, these administrators are something. They don't want you to do this, they don't want you to do that, they this, that, and the third. But I stopped by to tell you, All of us are not in that boat. We do love our teachers, we do love what we do, and we will do whatever we need to do in order to get to the point that we need to go. Okay? So, in essence, how you begin and how you go in will be determined how you come out. Okay? Let me say that again. How you begin, how you go in, will determine how you come out. So going back on what the young man has already said, I'm that's the name of it over my young lady. Tell me the name, Fulmore. Mr. Fulmore. Mr. Fulmore has already said you need to make sure that you take care of you. And that's what we want you to do. We want you to always take care of you. So the attitude and the mindset that was within you that you brought in, you keep that. So don't let no one change who you are. We might be from a different culture, but we serve the same purpose, which is the education of our children. Culture, we talked about that. I said, now I'm going to need him to get out my slide. I'm looking on my slide. I said, I'm going to need him to get out of that. So culture, the way things are done around here. That's basically it. It's the way things are done around here. It's the rules, it's the customs, it's the norm. Now, sometimes you may see some things that may not really be the norm. Because you do have some soldiers that want to go the opposite way. They want to go AWOL and they want to do what they want to do. So that's not necessarily the norm. When you don't know, you already alluded to it, you have to ask questions. And there's no bad questions, there's no dumb questions, there's no stupid questions. There's a question. A question is a question. So, at Esther Elementary School, we do AAA. We do that for the students. But then I said, this is also for the teacher. Attendance, you gotta be here. Attitude and academics. Attendance, attitude, and academics. Ready or not, here we come. What is attendance? It's an action or state of going regular. We want you to be present. Now, let me talk about this. The present part is not necessarily you in the building. We want you to be present mentally, physically, and emotionally. We don't want you to be there, and there's a song back in the day that says, my body's here with me, but my mind is on the other side. Now, you know what I'm talking about, girl. Yes. All right. And be on time. Be on time to work and meeting deadlines. Now, that's my pet peeve. You got to be on time. Please be on time. Now, I have been accused of locking the door when my teachers are not on time because I've told you over and over and over again, meeting starts at 3 o'clock. Not 3:05, not 3:10. Well, see, I was trying to get my room together. I understand that. Meeting started at 3 o'clock. This meeting was set ever since last month. I give my people a yearly calendar. So you already know what to expect. You don't have to guess. It's there. Desire to be there. You got to want to be where you are. Okay? I know it is the dream to come to America, but then when we get to America, sometimes America is not what we envision. And sometimes they don't take care of their people like they should. But I stopped by to tell you, you still have to have a desire to be there. If we say, I want you to come work at elementary school or whatever school you're going to, we need to embrace you and the difference that you bring to the table. Not one of them. Okay? Dependable. We got to be dependable. We have to know that if I give you something, you're going to get it done. Okay? So attendance is very important. Hold on, I turned it off. Okay, attitude. Oh, this is a big thing for me. Ready or not, thinking or feeling about someone or something. Be positive, even when your day is negative. Be proactive. Be patient, but persistent. Here's these people. I'm going to dismiss you. For example, Ms. Lee, can I do this, that? Yeah, just come at me later. And later may never come. So you need to be persistent. I may forget, because there's a lot of things going on in this head of mine that sometimes I tend to forget what you've asked me. Be proud of your school. Your school is proud of you. Visualize your success. I already know my kids gonna do well. Because look who the teacher is. I already know. Look at me. Do you realize I can teach? So therefore, you have to visualize your success. Love what you're doing. If you all didn't love what you're doing, then you wouldn't be where you are. Yes, there's a difference. You've been teaching for 14 years in the country that you're in. You come to America, and it's a whole different ballgame, as he already alluded to. But at the same time, as you sit back, you become observant. You watch, you take what is good, you dismiss the things that are bad. That don't look right, so I'm not going to do that. Okay? Relationship. That's a big thing for me. If you don't have a relationship with your students, if you don't have a relationship with each other, then you're not going to make it. You have to have someone that you can vent to. And it's not always the person. But I thank the Lord every day that I have a staff that if they're having some issues, they feel comfortable enough to come to me and say, Ms. Lee, I have a problem. Now, some of them wait to the last minute and I can't help them. You have to have a connection between whom you're dealing with. Academics. Know your subject area. That's never been a problem. When you all come, y'all damn fast. And you worry about the subject matter, you know what to do, and you do what you do. The biggest issue, ask questions when you don't know. We said that. Teach, research for more information, willing to go above and beyond. The biggest thing that I find, time is not an issue. You're always on time. Most teachers aren't. You want to compare Americans or international, so be it. But some of us, all together, sometimes we're not on time. Another thing is we don't want anyone to know that we're having problems. Because we feel that if I tell you I'm having a problem, you're going to get rid of me. No. American teachers have problems too. And you have heard them having problems because you're next door to them in the classroom. So don't feel ashamed if you're going through something that you feel that you cannot handle yourself. Go to your fellow teachers. Or go to whomever you feel comfortable with. Because everybody does not make your boat float, so to speak. Because everyone is not invited. Okay? All right. So teaching standards. I'm going to go through this real quickly, and then I'm going to be done. In South Carolina, we have what's known as a standard 4.0 rubric. And if you get this, you already have to way home. I'm going to move here, because I'm going to turn back and forth. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going to move over. Okay, so instruction. There's 4 slides about instruction. I'm not going to read it to you. I have a copy of the slide for you. And so if you're like me, if I passed it out, you'd be looking and not paying attention to what I'm doing. So I'm going to hold on to this. So in your instruction, you got to have your standards. You have to have your objectives. You have to tell the children what they're going to learn. You can't just get up there and start teaching. Okay? You have to motivate them. Motivate them. If I came up here and said, all right, class, today we're going to learn about addition of fractions, and we want you to take out a man, I'm going to throw something at you myself. So you got to motivate them. You got to want them. You got to make it personally meaningful. If you got some basketball players in there, guess what? Talk some basketball. If you know anything about, I don't know anything about games, even though I have grandchildren, but I know there are games out there that the kids are aware of. Presentation is the key. If you're standing one place, okay, take out a sheet of paper. I want you. That's why I have to walk. That's why I talk with my hands. Because the kids begin to visualize, okay, well, if Ms. Lee is this passionate about it, I might need to do a little something. Okay? Another part of instruction is lesson structure and pacing. You have to have some structure. You have to start on time, you have to have a beginning, you have to have a middle, and you have to have an end. You can't just jump to the end, and the kid's like, what are you talking about here? So you have to have some pacing. Don't spend all day long teaching. Because the average student, if they're 6, that's your time. 6 minutes, I'm done. I don't hear nothing else after 6 minutes. If you're a 5th grader, 10 minutes, I don't hear anything after 10 minutes. So you have to move quickly. Activities and materials. Those activities that you select must support the lesson. If I'm teaching adding and subtracting fractions, and then you come back with a worksheet on adding, whole numbers, that's not what you taught.
It's a problem.
Very much so. Question, ask questions. Varied questions, knowledge questions, analyzation questions, creation, evaluation. Go up there on them high level of Bloom's taxonomy. And when we get to academic feedback, when a child answers a question, don't just say, oh, that's a good answer. That is correct. Wonderful. Amazing. What was amazing about it? What was wonderful about it? What's so good about it? You have to add something to the answer. If I say, how old are you? I'm 57 years old. Why are you 57 years old? Well, because my birthday is in November 22nd, 1965. Okay, so how do you know that? Well, my mother's, so you want them to lead them into more than what they're giving you. Grouping students.
So basically, we're asking open-ended questions.
Bam, open-ended question. But you have to keep it going. And the terminology that she just said, that open-ended questioning, I don't use a lot of those terminology because when I give something to the teachers, I want them to do what she just did, make that connection. Because if I keep telling you, what's another name for a beginning? What do you all call that? What's beginning? Nobody knows? Opening? Introduction? And that's where our problem lies when we have our international teachers come, making the connection between your jargon and ours. Because they mean the same thing. Sponge activity is the same as bell work. Introduction, all of these things coincide. Grouping students. You can arrange your class, there are several kinds of groups. You have a full group, that means you're teaching the entire class. You have pairs or partners. You have small grouping. So all of these things are grouping students. You already know your content, and that's not an issue. You have to know your students. You have to get them to think above and beyond. Going back to what the young lady said about open-ended questions. You have to probe. You got to prowl. You got to pull it out of them. You know, if truth be told, COVID did a number on us. Okay? Our kids are still feeling that they're still looking at a computer and not paying attention. So you have to get them motivated into what they need to do. Then you have your plan. You can't teach without plan. Plan what you're going to do. Make sure that you already know the outcome before it ever happens. Of course, with anything, you're going to have a snafu, something's going to happen in between. That's going to say, oh, I didn't see that. But if you know your children, if you know your students, then you already know that little Johnny is going to have a problem with that problem. You already know that Sarah can't read that because she is sitting in a fourth grade class reading on a second grade level. You have to know who you have in your audience. Okay? You have to know that. Make sure that whenever you're giving a test, it's aligned to what you're teaching. I keep hearing students say, well, you know, Miss Lee, Miss Susan gave me a test on adding, I'm a math person, that's why you didn't say anything about the yellow. Adding 2-digit numbers plus 2-digit numbers. That's what she taught. But when we have our paper on our test, we had 3-digit numbers plus 3-digit numbers. That's not right. It isn't. Because you can't give me something that was not taught to me. It's just like when we invite you all to our country and we try to get you to teach the way that we want you to teach, and you have your own set of skills that you need to tap into to show us what you all about. The environment.
Yeah, say that again, please.
Which part?
That last statement.
I said, when you come here, and I'm not gonna say it the same because that's what's in my mindset. But when you come here, we cannot expect you to adapt to our culture when you bring your own set of skills here. So we need to tap into what you got going on, and merge what we have going on, and then create a positive environment. Integrate. Okay? So at the same time, engaging expectations should
rest of them. And everybody's gonna be able to answer the question. Why? Because you've already taught. Isn't that what we always say? Well, I taught the lesson. I don't know why they didn't learn. Did you really? You taught the lesson, but I might have been drawing. You taught the lesson, I might have been talking. You taught the lesson, I was someplace else thinking about what I'm gonna do this afternoon. Engage our students. Consistently engage them. Don't let them sit there. I got some engagement in just a minute. Y'all sitting here. I don't see you writing. I'm gonna do like the little kids. I don't see you writing nothing. I don't see you writing nothing. You know, I don't see you writing. You have paper. Come on now. So, and managing the behavior. Oh, that's the biggest problem that we have. That's our biggest problem with not only the international teachers, but teachers in general. They do not know how to deal with our children. Well, if you know that George is the biggest person in your classroom that's always picking on your children, you want George to be your best student. How you doing, George? Hey, George, you know something? I want you to be my helper today. I want you to pass out the papers, and on the other hand, I need you to go ahead and get the pencil. So you use those people that always cause them confusion in your classroom. And develop a look. Develop a look. When the kids back up, you learn. That works 24/7. 24/7. You just look at them, and they know they need to close their mouth. Now she laughed. That ain't the action I was supposed to get. They was supposed to the environment, he said it. Welcoming. If you have children, and you came in this environment here, did you want your child to be in here? Not three. No, because first of all, I see a bit, air wall. I see some things over here, but that's it. I don't see nothing. Now, we have some teachers who bring couches, they bring beanbag chairs, they bring flowers, they bring fish. Carpet. You know, I had a teacher who said, Ms. Lee, can I bring a, what is that thing? A hair strap, no ma'am.
A what?
A hair strap, no ma'am. A hair strap, oh, a little rat. So, there are some things you can bring to invite, make your area inviting. Be respectful in your culture. She said it again. How you treat me, you might, you know, maybe shut up. You know, oh, they tell you to shut up. You just do, oh my God, what kind of school is this? But now, sometimes you might have to go there, but you take them in your office and say, listen, I'm not keeping this together. Listen, but that's between you and her. Now, if she goes out and she tells everybody, that's on her. But whatever is discussed in my office stays in my office. And then you walking around with, how do you know what I told you? Because you ran your mouth to somebody, and they ran their mouth to somebody, and they ran their mouth to somebody. Now everybody knows what we're going to do. The environment is key. When I walk in that door, I want to. But now, I'm telling my international teachers always have the best looking class in the building. Woo! Yes, can you repeat that? I don't remember what I just said. My Jamaican teachers, or my international teachers always have the best looking class in the building. Now, when I get back, if this is live, when I get back to work, also they do it. Then I have to get out of my foot out my mouth. But they do, and they know, and I've told them. And sometimes I will hold meetings in those classes because I want them to see. Oh, I was holding this on. Okay. Now, what you want to tell me? Oh, this is nice. Because you know, even though we on the same campus, we don't ever get to go to any of our classes. So you find a class that is real nice. Our meeting today will be in so-and-so's class, Ms. Lee's class. Everyone be on time. I'm glad, kids done beat them up. Don't let them kids beat you up. Professionalism. You have to grow in whatever you do. You have to laugh in whatever you do. sometimes you just have to learn to Lord Jesus child.
Yeah. And there's always one child that you just say, oh, why don't you come to you? Every day he has to come to you. Never miss a day. But we have to be prompt, we have to be prepared, and we have to participate. We have to reflect on our teachers. Every day we sit down and say, oh, how did I do this? You know, I could have done A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but it's good. And if we exchange classes, you have a chance to do a do-over. Because what first period didn't get, and you know, God, I should have told him that. Second period came. But then remember the next day, come back to first period. And you know, I forgot to tell you all this, that, and the third. Community involvement. We allude to that as well. I'm real bad on this, but please forgive me. Pray for me in the process of my mind. Educators actually support this school activity. I'm not talking about SIC, I'm talking about that, but just know and look at yourself, the SIC for us is Student Teacher Council, PTA, Parent Teacher Association. You know, yeah, that's all well and good. But if you know Tommy plays football, and Tommy says, well, see, I need you to come to my game. Well, I ain't got time to come to game. I got things to do. Then you think like, how you go. And then when Tommy see you, oh, look at Miss Lee. And you know they think you're not human. Y'all know that. You know, if they see you in a grocery store, like, like we're not human. Yes, in short. Somebody know what I'm talking about. So it's important that you seize the moment. Keep those. You know, I was kind of special when I was taught. I used to travel with my grade book because I didn't know when I was with him. I was with the churches, and when I walked in the door and I see, is there a grade book man? No, not the grade book. The grade book stayed in the car, but it was ready if I needed it. Okay. So we in a small town now. Yeah, everybody knows. Yeah. So I was going to church, and I'm almost done. I was going to church, and Tommy is the usher. And he done showed off in my class all the I'm coming in the church, and you standing at the door. Okay, all right. And I see you. Come on, Mr. G. Okay, I sit down, and I said, oh, church. But when service is over, I go straight to the pastor. So, you know, you go where they are. Yeah. The games, the churches, recitals, not because I was hunting down the kids now, don't get me wrong. It's that it invited me, and I wanted to show up for them. But see, I have a recital. I said, oh, okay, all right, what time is it? When it's such time, I said, maybe I don't know if I'm going to come. I said, okay, I'm going to try. I'm going to work it, and I'll get it. So, you know, keep on, there you go. Back up, I'm going to go forward. You got this. Forward. You got this. You got this. I know you had experience 14 years ago in Jamaica or India or wherever you are. However, it's similar. I shouldn't say same, it's similar. There are similar things you're going to do. Being on time is okay everywhere. Mm-hmm. Dressing professionally is okay everywhere. Now, we do have some challenges in the dressing department. Because sometimes they're a little snug. Mm-hmm. I can say that. I get with you. They're a little snug. And when I look at pictures in different cultures, I'm like, okay, well, that's good. Yeah. And I have it like that. You know, you can't wear a medium all your life. Right. Medium. my account. If I have to do this all day, you need to hang that up. You understand? Because when I'm walking, I got to, oh, I need that a little bit too, you know. Now, some things you will have to do, but there's others that you know. You know, that's, I'm gonna do that right now. I consider myself very real when it comes down to certain things. And one thing about me, I'm gonna address it, and I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna be done. Okay? I just gave you a folder. In that folder is a copy of the PowerPoint, and on the back of it, and then there's what we call a bubble map. In that bubble map, I want you to put your name in the middle, and I want you to describe yourself. Now, I want you to remember some partial now.
Your work.
Don't do nothing extra.
Do your work. Do your work. Teach me. Do your work.
Now, don't think I do this because I like y'all. But I do this because this is my culture. I've always given my teachers. Because wherever they are, and they need to pick up, I was the principal that was putting weight on my teachers because every Monday morning they had some kind of chocolate in the box.
And ma'am, I was just about to ask you to tell us some ways how you motivate your teachers. Well, they don't need to say anything more.
I'm bored. So, I usually have a card in it. This right here is a lifesaver. You all are our lifesavers. You are our children's lifesavers.
Clap for teachers from all around the world.
You know how we use that scripture that says, if it had not been for the Lord on our side,
Amen.
where would we be? So I'm gonna say it this way. If it had not been for the teachers on the student side, and the principal side, and the school district side, where would we be? We have a smarty in here, because you guys are brilliant. You're beyond smart. So this is the only thing that kind of really makes up with it. And then you have the regular mint, which means that you're a working man. We can never pay you for what you're worth. Never pay you for what you're worth. And then, I'm an affectionate principal. I love you now, and I'll always take care of you later. Amen. So I'm always that person looking for something to motivate our teachers, encouraging them to move on, to run on and see where they end gonna be. The influence of a good teacher cannot be erased. Sometimes the thing your students need most right now has nothing to do with what's on your lesson plan. I say that to say your kids are gonna come in with luggage, baggage. But if you know your student, you already know why Johnny went from an A all the way down to a C. You should be having conversations with John. But if you don't know your student, you think it's, oh my Lord, what's going on? So you have to know your children. Now, I'm a poet and don't know it. I wrote this yesterday. I don't know how it sounds, but we're going to see how it turns out. You are a new teacher in a way. But if truth be told, you have been preparing each day. Preparing to make a difference in someone's life. When you find that out, you didn't think twice. You have a gift better than the rest. The students will truly be blessed. Blessed to have someone just like you who has decided to be true. True to the cause to educate them all, even though sometimes you may fall. But your inner voice will speak to you, telling you that you can do what you do. So many are counting on you day in and day out, calling on your name to give you a shout. A shout for the wonderful teacher you are. You surpassed the moon and became a star. Remember that the race is not given to the swift, but the one who does not miss. The one that has the opportunity to win the race while still enjoying the chase. The chase to be the best that you can be. A great teacher is your destiny.
Yes. Yes. Beautiful.
Can you remind me, you said the lifesaver,
You are a lifesaver.
And the smarty was, well, you can add that you're brilliant, you're smart, you're intelligent.
The regular mint, you worth a mint, and you can't pay you for what you truly worth. And what else? Now, baby, I love you now, take care of you later.
okay.
Or I love you now and later. However, girl, you can mix that thing up.
Mix
I'm about to
it.
bring y'all
Just
together
mix
now.
it up. Mix it up.
Yeah, you can mix it up however, you know. I'm real bad about remembering what I say the first time because God gives me.
You paraphrase it all the time.
And when I say one thing, and that's when you caught me off guard, because I can't repeat it, because once he gets it to me, that's it. I can't bring it back for some reason. I'm sorry, I'm about to tell you, Lord, you got it. I'm sorry. I hear you. With that being said, I'm done. Thank you all so much for inviting me.
Thank you, Miss Lee. Thank you.
I hope there was something that was said that you can use as you go. Now, I was planning for 100 people this year. But I have some more of these if anybody just wants. Okay?
Yes, yes. And ma'am, did you say we could eat right now? Teacher, did you say we could eat? Teacher, did you say we could eat sweets?
Sure. And I do this for my students as well. I do this for my students as well. You know, when they come the first day of school, I always try to have something for them.
Yes.
Blow pop, girl, you about to blow this class up. You know, you can use candy as the cheapest thing you can buy, especially when you don't have the money. And just don't think just because I'm such, well, I'm making money. Maybe if I go to Georgia, I probably would. I'm gonna get fired.
No.
This is disclosure. Dr. Wilcox, I'm just playing. I love working.
Yes, she's not leaving. She's not leaving.
I want to take this time to thank Mrs. Julia Lee for coming to share with us today. I know we have learned a lot. International teachers take something from what a principal, an actual principal, share with you today. We have with us today Ms. Sarah Britton is going to present her. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bill. All right, so Mr. Lee, on behalf of ASIC, or participant coordinator today, we want to thank you very much for taking the time out to come and share with us your wealth of knowledge. You are a very good student.
Richard.
Never said that.
Yes, I've always been told that teachers make the best students and their technical best. So I want to thank you very much. Very important journey to ecosystem, education ecosystem. So whatever you brought was well received, I can tell.
Yes.
Participants were engaged. So I want to thank you very much for giving one listening. This is our proposal for you today. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Did anyone else want to see more of these?
Yes, ma'am.
Because I said I
Okay, guys, feel free to grab a cookie, grab some coffee. We have snacks. We have one more. We have one more speaker. We have one more speaker.
They said it all.
She's just gonna come and wrap it up then, since they said it all. So we have, gonna give you a few minutes to grab something for those who are gonna grab something.
Okay, this update.
Okay, you can leave.
Okay.
All right.
And you can monitor and adjust how you behave.
You can write your email address on this. With Miss Lee first, so you can go ahead and.
Oh, no,
send-
Miss Lee.
Okay.
Listen,
Oh, yeah, yeah. I like that. I think more, that's exactly what green is there too. Build it, right? Oh, somewhere else. Come with the baby weather. Come with the baby weather. Holiday Maker, right there on Harding and Jamaica. Taylor and Orange. Yeah, I know that place well. Where you go to church up there? Come on. All those good churches around Benedict.
I went to this one in Rosewood, and then another one, I forgot what it's called.
That place is around there, you say. Yeah. If you just out, there's a huge one right there on the corner of Millwood, on First Avenue. Every fourth Sunday, they feed college. Every fourth Sunday. Free breakfast and free lunch. Okay, that's on campus, right? Yeah. You guys have a, you guys have a super choir. Have you ever heard the Benedict choir? Yeah, super choir. Very nice music.
Break time. No, trending break time. Oh. Break time, guys. So we have coffee.
Yes, ma'am. I do.
Fruit. Some oxtail.
That's every Friday. Okay, we're gonna go straight into our next and final speaker. It has been an awesome morning so far. I hope you have been enjoying the presentation so far. Our next speaker is one of our director, Diane Ricketts, who's gonna be coming to share her topic on teacher tips for work-life balance. She'll tell us a little about herself first and get straight into the presentation. Okay, guys, so my name is Diane Ricketts, and I'm an international teacher. I've taught in North Carolina for 5 years. Before that, I taught back in Jamaica for 5 years. So in total, I have like over 14 years experience in the education system. I'm now currently in Savannah Chatham County. I'm also a member of AFIT, and we all know that Aid for International Teachers, and we're here to help our international teachers in any way possible. The team. So remember now, the teamwork makes the dream work. So my topic that I'm talking on today is let's read. What is work-life balance? Say work-life balance. Say work-life balance. And let's start with our learning target. Say learning target. Learning target. Okay, so let's see what we're learning today. And guys, I just have 5 minutes, so it won't be a deep dive lesson, okay? No open-ended questions, all right? Let's go. Today, we are learning at least 10 tips on how to balance teacher work life. Let's read it one more time. Today, I am learning at least 10 tips on how to balance teacher work life. So let's go back to the question. What is work-life balance? Could you share? Anyone wants to share?
It's in the name.
It's in the name?
Yes.
Could you give me some more details?
How
I need
do
more
you
details.
balance life and work?
How do you balance life and work? Anyone else? Your family life and work? Family life and work? Anyone else?
You and work.
You and work? More details?
Balancing two different things, your life at home and your life at school.
Life at work and your life at school.
How you
Alright.
manage them, how you manage them.
How you manage them. Okay, do you see the picture right here? Yeah. Anyone want to speak to the picture?
Look like a weight, like a scale.
Like a scale? And what's happening on the scale?
It's
It's
level.
balanced.
It's level.
It's on the same level. It's balanced.
It's balanced?
Yes.
And what did you say, man?
She looks sad.
The person who's balancing looks sad? Why do you think the person looks sad?
She doesn't know how to balance her work
I don't
and
know how
life.
to
Am I
balance this, I was being overwhelmed with work.
You're being over. Okay. Am I asking any open-ended questions as yet? Okay. All right. So basically, you all sum it up. I'm not going to add anything to what you already stated. How you balance life and work. Now, do you think teachers are having a hard time balancing life and work?
Of course, all the time.
Why do you think so?
Work takes up more of your time than work, than your life.
That's your life.
Well, your whole life.
Do you think we can find a way to strike a balance?
We can, but we don't.
And we don't. And how do you think that impacts us when we don't find a balance?
We start getting stressed and
Overwhelmed.
Burnout.
And that's where, as Ms. Lee said, that's where we start crying.
And I know Ms. Lee, as the principal, don't want crying teachers walking around the hallway. Right, Ms. Lee? And any other principals, they don't want that. So we're going to have to strike a balance. It's very, very important that we strike a balance between work and life. So today I have 10 tips on how we can balance teacher work. I'm specifically talking about teacher work right now. All right? So we have 10 tips. The first one is remember your word. Let's say that.
Remember your word.
Number 2 is
Delegate tasks.
Number 3, create a third space outside of work and family. Number 4, prioritize your
Health.
health. Number 5,
Take a break from electronics.
Number 6, spend
Time with
family.
family.
Number 7,
Know when to say no.
Number 8,
Set realistic
goals. Number 9, set
Set
work
work
hours
hours
and
and
keep
keep
them.
them.
And number 10,
Spend
spend
time
time
reflecting.
reflecting. Now, we are going to, you were supposed to know, give me some examples of how we can remember our work. So I wanted you guys to work, to write it on a sticky note. Do we have time for that?
We have, there you go.
Yes, so we're gonna, jot down few examples of how we can do these things and then we'll talk about it. All right? So let's go.
And that
So-
goes back to that bubble map that you just reviewed,
Yeah.
because you can tie into that, because if you don't have anything positive to say about yourself, how do you expect to say something about your bubble?
Yes. So go ahead and write down some examples of how we can do a few of those and let's share them out loud. Or we can,
Remember our work,
or prioritize your health, or spend any of those. Spend time with your family. Just give us a few things we could do.
So do we just put it up there?
Yeah, we're gonna share it first. and then we'll do that. Ready? This is called teacher wake time. Can you choose any of those? All right? Could you come and put it right here? So you make sure you visit your doctor. So what are we doing right there?
Prioritizing your
Your
health.
health. Now, if you're sick and worn out, do you think you can go and stand in front of these kids?
No.
Huh?
That's what I'm moving.
No, absolutely not. They always say you must bring your A game to school. So if you go to school and you're sleeping at the table and the principal walks in, what's going to happen? That's going to be a problem. If you're sleeping and kids are fighting, that's going to be a problem. That's not your A feeling and your A game. We do show up when it's not our A game. I know we're, as teachers, we have, sometimes we say, oh, I'm not feeling well, but I'm going to go. But you need to strike that balance to know if, yes, I can go, I can make it, or I can't. But you can't be going and sleeping and doing all those things. Yes, ma'am?
Right, so for remember your worth, I have 1, treat yourself, and 2, spend quality alone time.
Okay? Good. Treat yourself and spend quality alone time. So me time. We need me time. Anyone else? Me time. Anyone else?
Me.
Come on.
I said for create a third space outside of work.
Good. So create a third space outside of work. Exercise. Go for a walk. Meditate. It's very important that we strike a balance. All right. Did we do any other?
Sometimes saying no to other projects, because you probably have something scheduled with your family, so you don't wanna take on that additional stuff that, it's not gonna, that's gonna take away from your family time.
Right. So we gotta say no to some of the things that, come up on us. Sometimes it's hard because we have so much to do, extracurricular activities, but we're gonna have to strike a balance because we don't wanna get worn out and can't make it through the school year. We just crash. 3 months in and we crash. Good job. All right.
Number 7.
So, all right. Could we just elaborate?
Remember,
Go ahead.
remember your work?
Yes.
Teachers may be asked at times to collect reports from students on school activities. And reminded, because I know that was done.
because that's your word, your integrity.
To like,
Yeah.
I think they said after 24 hours, if you don't handle your money, you can be held, you can be charged for people like that.
Yes, so remember your word by being
Send the money to the
walking,
kids.
right. That's a good one. And remember, all right, remember to delegate tasks. As teachers, we want to do everything. In the classroom, we want to hand out paper. We want to do everything. Delegate to principals, delegate to counselors, delegate to the students in your class, and delegate to colleagues. Delegate the work. Did you hear me?
Are you
You're
delegating?
delegating some of your
Are
work to
you
even the
delegating to the
principal.
principal?
Of course you can delegate to principal.
That's what?
Suppose you're having some issues with some students in your class. Don't deal with it on your own. Get the principal involved.
Administrators, yeah.
Get administrators.
But how often you want to do that? You don't want to do that too often.
Well, you go on the level of the hierarchy, the chain. So you're gonna grade
Or
chair.
sometimes the schools, they have different, levels of how and when you would get to that principal.
Right, yeah.
So the first one, like a
Right.
one, write it down on paper. The second one, you call the parent. The
Right.
third one,
Guidance
you probably
counselor.
detention. The fourth one, guidance counselor. The fifth one, the principal. Say, hey, I cannot be with this kid anymore. So guess what? I want you to take charge.
Right.
Because I've tried all different avenues and it's not working.
Yeah.
And I want you to ask them, because I don't want them to think, as soon as they have an issue, they're gonna send the student to the principal's office.
Right, right. There's a chain that
Yeah.
he needs to follow.
And it depends on the severity of the issue.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, if it's just not even close their mouth, then, you know, that's different than a fighting in the class.
Right, good, yeah.
All right, so, in principal headquarters, recently, that, DFS not so much on the counselor than the social worker. They are the very responsible services. She said that if there are, like have a child who has a regular behavior, let you know about it. She's the one who's gonna deal with it.
Behavior wise, it depends on the behavior, because if it's something where a child is crying or something, for whatever reason, that's more counseling.
Yeah.
But a person can have that too, but there may be something else going on.
Right.
Like a death or they're not, you know, whatever's going on, whatever it is. But in the case of what you just said, if the behavior is escalating and you talk to parents, you in the morning, you talk to parents, you counsel with the child, you've done all of that, and they still haven't changed, then yes, you're in the office. And that was one of the things that I said. A lot of times our international students don't want to do that. Because their thing is, I have to deal with it, because if I don't do it, they're going to send me back.
Right. But
Everybody should go to the principal if they're gonna see that,
you're not a manager, good manager.
Right. But that's not just, that's not international teachers, that's teachers period.
Period, right.
You know, all teachers have issues, okay? You know, as firm as I was back in the day, I had issues. But it's how we deal with those issues that continues, you know, that helps you out. So, but you gotta know your leaders too. You know, every leader is not like, it's like every teacher.
Right, good. Good conversation we're having. All right, so I'm going to elaborate on the others that we didn't do. Take a break from electronics. As a teacher, you need to take a break from electronics. And I'm taking that one for myself also. Don't check your phone. Don't be checking your phone every second. It's gonna, you know, hinder you from living in the moment. You have teachers who do that. And you're checking emails every second. No. Don't do that. Take a break from electronics. And I also want to go back to this one that says prioritize your health. Do you know sometimes you just need a mental health day? Yes, take those days. Take those days. And talk to someone. You're not alone. You must can find someone that you can talk to. Talk to someone. And also make sure you do your annual checkups.
Even if you're not feeling sick, someone said make your appointments and go to the doctor. But sometimes, even if you're not feeling sick, you gotta make those appointments and go do those checkups. Take those days and write up your leave form for your appointment and write up your leave form for your sick days. Take those days. All right? All right? Spend quality time with family. Go out. Watch a movie. Sit in and watch, right, sit in and watch Netflix, but spend time with family. I said sit in and watch Netflix and eat popcorn. Yes, ma'am. And remember to set realistic goals. Set smart goals that you can achieve in a certain time. Time-bound goals that are realistic and measurable. Good. And set work hours and keep them. Don't do work at 12 a.m. in the night and doing school work.
Set boundaries.
Set boundaries. This can just drain you. Make sure you do most of your schoolwork at work. Your lesson planning and all that, get it done at work. Get it done where? At work. Get it done where? At work. Where? At work. All those anchor charts and all those stuff, get it done at work.
Even if it's after 5.
Well, after 5, but you're not so bad. But you have teachers up working 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock.
Listen, I'm talking about administrators. Now, y'all ain't know me first. So, I mean, because we have the same thing, we tend to take the teaching courses, and we take it to administrators. Because I work, I was the 11, 12 o'clock teacher, okay? And I'm the 11, 12 o'clock administrator. But when I shut off, I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore. So we just have to come to a point in this walk that we okay, everything else stopping at 5.
Yes, you have to set it and keep it.
Every day I'm leaving this campus at 4. It never happens, but it's just a good idea.
To set.
That goes back to that
Realistic
my
goals.
goals are never realistic. You're not.
Say it.
And I know that's possible. Help me.
Yes,
I'm serious.
it's important.
You just have to do it.
Yes, and
Let's stop.
spend spend quality time reflecting.
Yeah.
Reflection is very important. You're reflecting on, your own being. You can be reflecting on your family, your situation. You can be reflecting on school. But some introspecting is very good because it can tell you, am I going on the right path? Am I doing the right thing? Do I need to change anything? So reflection is very key. You can also write down get a journal and, put your reflecting in that journal. And from time to time you can go back and see, if I've grown or what I need to change or do differently. Yes, so I did have another activity, but time is against us. So I'm just going to wrap up. So what were we learning today again? Let's review. Let's review.
Today I am learning at least 10 tips on how to balance future work life.
Okay, and who wants to remind me of some of those tips? Yes.
Take a break from electronics.
Take a break from electronics. Set realistic goals.
Spend time with
Remember your work.
Remember your work.
spend time with family.
Spend time with family.
Say no.
Are you going to say no all the time? That sounds like you're going to say no all the time. No, it depends. Know when to say no. Any more? Yes.
Okay, so set the work orders and keep them.
And keep them. Okay, good. And
Create a workspace of all the work.
good, good. So, do you see any of these that you might take back with to incorporate in your life or in your work schedule?
Learn when to say no.
You'll take that, oh my goodness. I hope you don't go back to school and keep saying no, 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 no. Because principals don't like to hear no. Right, Miss Lee? You'll work around it.
You know what it is. It's
So that-
the legitimate reason why you can't do it. I'm good. But see, you have to remember, I'm not like, so not saying that I'm all that, but not, but I remember as a student that I would want to, my personality to be.
Right.
So I took that and made me, to where I am now. So I understand that if you're late for work, if you can give me a legitimate reason why you're late, I'm good. But now, you just keep walking in the door late, and you don't say nothing.
Right.
We're gonna have a problem. So, you know, I'm very understanding when it comes to stuff, especially personal things, if you have an issue at the house, you don't have to tell me what it is.
Right.
If we don't have any issues at the house, okay, that's fine. But you need to do it. You're going to hold your class, you teach your class, unless it's math, unless you have lady on your own.
Good. I agree. All right, so that's the wrap. So creating a healthy work-life balance is important. Remember, there isn't a single perfect way to have a work-life harmony. It's a process that will happen over time. So what may work for you may not work for me. But you have to find a way to create that teacher work-life balance. Are we going to be burnt out for this school year?
No.
No. Are we going to create some balances?
Yes.
Yes. And that's the wrap.
I need a copy of those, you know, just to
What did you just say?
I said, I need a copy of those email addresses.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm gonna email you all out of the blue, y'all will say, this lady is calling us.
Oh my goodness, Lily. Okay, we're at the end of today's workshop and launch. This is the first time we're actually doing something with a out public. So we took the time out to launch it today as well as do our first workshop. I hope you enjoyed the different speakers, you learned something, you're ready for the new school year, and I want to wish you all a what kind of school year? Balance. A balanced or productive school year. Again, remember we did say we are seeking volunteers for our organization as well as a director. So go ahead and shoot us an email if you're interested at afitnonprofit@gmail.com. Thank you.
Awesome. Yes. Good job.
Look, keep picking up. That's the wrap. See? Thank you again for coming, Miss Lee. Let me talk to you for a minute. Thank you. Before is there anyone who is upgrading the vehicle and themselves and move on? Okay.
You wanna close?
Oh, let me show you my shirt, guys.